Well, a very warm welcome to the show. It's round about 9 o'clock my time. It's AM. It's Tuesday, the 10th of May, 2022, 10 a.m. in Hong Kong, which possibly makes it in London round about 1 a.m. And in America, it must be sometime in the evening for you or late afternoon. A very warm welcome to the show. Now, this is a live show which I haven't done for a while, and I will get to the comments at the end of the show. And I do have what's happening a little bit later on the big show tonight. Again, my time, 7:45 p.m. Hong Kong time on Tuesday, the 10th of May. The lockdown in China. In some areas in Shanghai, for example, it is getting a little bit better. And I do repeat, a little bit better. Beijing, some areas have been locked down, and there are non-confirmed reports of how many cities have been locked down or partially locked down. Is anywhere between, well, 22 to up to 70, partial or full lockdown. And I do get a lot of information from this through a Chinese social media website called Weibo. But a lot of people in China do have a VPN, which is a virtual private network, and they can jump over the Chinese firewall or go under the Chinese firewall, and then they post on Twitter. And this is where I get a lot of my information from. This is not from mainstream media. This is from real people, real citizens who are going through this. And they have, like you and I, a mobile phone, a smartphone, and basically they video it. They put it on Weibo. A lot of the time it gets deleted, but the CCP, the Chinese government, can't delete off Twitter. But we do have Elon Musk there, so that may change a little bit in the future. So there's lots of videos that you can find. All you need to do basically is go to Twitter, for example, and you can see all of this. Now, I've taken away the bits that I cannot really show on a live stream on YouTube. And many thanks to StreamYard, which is a live streaming site, and you can do exactly the same. It's all free of charge, 20 hours. They're not sponsoring me. I just think it's a great little website. Now, let's go onto the main page here, and let me take you out of the picture. And let's go into the first one. Now, this is how how they clean the streets. Now, you think they may have the high-tech machines, and you possibly have seen some of the, you could say they're like the fire guns. But this is quite funny how some people do clean the streets like this. There we go, on a share bike and just with a bottle of disinfectant. So is that really going to stop COVID-19? Well, I'll leave you up for that choice. It is getting to a situation where people have had enough, and the foreigners who can actually say goodbye to China, and if they can leave with all the right papers, which is a real nightmare to do, they're just packing up and saying goodbye. A lot of the population, the foreign population, I could say, are generally quite young, and they're possibly related to education. There's one import that China does want, and that's English teachers, qualified English teachers for all generations. Most parents want their children to speak English, but the foreigners are saying enough, enough. 40 days of lockdown is more than enough. So this is a woman and her husband or boyfriend, whatever, and they managed to get all the papers, etc. They packed their bags and they're saying goodbye to China. I'm not too sure how much the actual air ticket costs, but you could say, wow, that is an arm and a leg. So they've basically had enough. The situation on the ground, this is actually quite frightening. Let's say, for example, let's say you have been in quarantine, for example, for 2 weeks, whatever, you cleared, you're negative, 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 and they give you the papers to go home. But when you do get home, the actual COVID police, the stormtroopers, the big whites, or whatever you want to call these people in these hazmat suits, So you can't go back into your compound. So lots of people have been living on the streets and surviving, literally living rough. So the alleviation of poverty in China, homeless people has seemed to be on the rise. Not because they don't have anywhere to go, it's just because they're not allowed home. These are also related to delivery drivers as well. These, what I'm showing you here, are not delivery drivers. They're just people who just can't get home. And what they have to do basically is find the food and just cook outside, sleep outside, clean themselves outside. This is what this guy is explaining. He's been here and his friends have been there for a long time. There's no restaurants open or anything like that. This is how they're living until, excuse me, the lockdown is over. Shanghai, about 2 or 3 days ago, had this red sky. Now, we do have the old saying, red sky at night, shepherd's delight. And red sky in the morning is the shepherd's warning, but I don't know what it means here. It looks like something out of a horror movie with this red sky. It's just a very strange phenomenon there. I don't really have a lot related to the lockdown in Beijing or partial lockdown in Beijing, other cities, and the full lockdown in Shanghai. Again, I repeat, in Shanghai, I think it is getting a little bit better. But when the COVID police do come in and they sanitize your home. Now, this could be before you're allowed home, if you can get to your home. Excuse me, I need some coffee. I'm coughing too much. If you can get home, then these people would sanitize your home. And the thing is, they're going to take stuff out of the fridge when there's very little food. I don't know the reason for this. Maybe they think it's contaminated, etc. So the whole apartment, apart from the furnishings, is going to be bare. No food in the fridge at all. You see, they're just taking it away, which is a real crying shame. Why are they doing that? They don't know. And the amount of disinfectant they're putting in there is remarkable. Look at the floor. It's just so wet with disinfectant. Luckily, this is alcohol based, so it will dry quite quickly. Now, I'm going to go where? I'm going to change that for now. I'm going to add that. And I'm going to explain what's going on here a little bit there. So that's what I've got at the moment for what's happening in the cities. Again, I think it is getting better to that one. A quick hello to some of the people I got to here. God bless the Chinese people from Skylar. Thank you very much. And a good morning to Patricia Gary. Thank you very much for putting a comment there. Now, what's happening on the big show tonight? Now, this is 6:45 Bangkok time, 7:45 p.m. Hong Kong time. So it's going to be, I've got to work it out again, around about 12:45 in the United Kingdom. I've just put a compilation. I would just put a compilation of what's happening, because if you look at the screen here, I just got this news literally about 2 hours ago that China dam opens, floodgates without warning. And of course, we do have the Three Gorges Dam. I'm going to not speak for a while, and you can just see for about 2 minutes of what's happening on the big show a little bit later.
อยู่บ้านออกส่งยังครับพี่ก็ไปเห็นยัง
เนี่ยมันไปตัวได้เตรียมหมากกลางคืนจะเมื่อเช้าแค่ลอยกันเบิดละก็ส่งซ้ำมือค่ะแต่ว่าส่งมือก่อนนะมันจะ
So that is what is happening on the big show a little bit later on. Basically, the Chinese government or the Three Gorges Dam Corporation opened a dam in the southern part of China in Yunnan province to release the water. You can see the weather forecast that I showed you there. There is quite heavy rain in the southern part of China. You could say, yes, the monsoon season has started. And with that, along the Mekong River, which goes through Laos, Burma, Thailand, here, Cambodia, and Vietnam, the waters have risen. You can see from that place in northern Thailand, very close to Chiang Mai and Chiang Rai, where the actual situation has happened, and with no warning. So do the Chinese government basically tell people, well, the answer is obviously no, zilch, zero. That really is about it I got to do. It's a really short live stream. Will you start a North Korean channel? Mona Rose. I think it'll be very difficult unless I actually go to North Korea itself. And there are hundreds of channels which show Rocket Boy Kim and the communism there and how wonderful the capital is, so to speak. And then you don't see the real North Korea, which is a great shame. I think with North Korea, basically, you have to go and you have to watch the programs of the defectors, and they will just tell you what North Korea is like. But again, this is only word of mouth. There's very few pictures. There's very few secret pictures that come out about North Korea. Thank you for everyone for spending about 15 minutes of your time. That's all I have to do. A like, a subscribe, a share is absolutely epic. A super thanks would be, well, that can buy me a cup of coffee or maybe a beer. And I will finish this and I will see you a little bit later on for today. Be good, be well. Thank you so much for your time. I will leave you with what's, well, basically the beginning again. Let me just press the button. And before the music plays, I will say bye-bye for now. Have a great day wherever you are in the world. Cheerio. Thank you.